to bring us up to speed with what is unfolding at the Capitol building. His Excellency President George Manawia today is addressing the nation. He's delivering his State of Nation address. We are doing everything we can to join with the guys at with the guys there at the Capitol building to bring you what is unfolding. Stephen Bender, if you are there, please, you can reconnect with us. Stephen Bender, if you are there, you can please reconnect with us so we can have you live on the program. Isaac Jackson as well. We are also trying to make sure we connect with Isaac Jackson this afternoon on the program. Stephen, if you are there, I'm sending you the link again so you can reconnect with us on the program. This is Trending Issues. We are coming to you live on Punch TV. Please, two of us, we are trying to sort out this technical constraint that we are faced with at the moment. Okay. Isaac, this is it. I just sent you the link. You can join us on the platform. So we are doing a pre-State of Nation address, but His Excellency President George Manawia has already started speaking. We are doing everything also to connect with our folks there at the legislature to bring you a live coverage of the president's address. Isaac Jackson also, hopefully, we are doing everything we can to have him join us on the platform this afternoon. This is Trending Issue. President George, we are on today, as required by the Constitution, is to address members of the legislature. He is supposed to be addressing the country, but it is going to be done through the representatives of the people, which is the legislature. So he's going to be presenting a State of Nation on today, telling the Liberian people where we are in terms of peace and security, telling the Liberian people what his government has been doing in terms of the fight against corruption, uplifting the livelihood of the Liberian people. But I hope we can have this video on the screen for our viewers to watch as well. This is Trending Issues, coming to you live from Punch TV across Liberia. My name is Vanny Dix. Diamond Slanger has been as well on the platform. Stephen Bender from the US has been with us as well. Earlier on, we have Madam Wede Power, who is a representative aspirant in District Number 7, Montserrat County. Isaac Jackson, former Deputy Information Minister, is also joining us live now on the program. Gentlemen, welcome back to the program. This is Trending Issues.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vanny. I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, good afternoon and welcome. This is Punch TV and this is Trending Issues.
Hello?
Yeah, you live with us. Minister Jackson, the problem is really coming from, it's coming from your end. The internet difficulty is coming from your end.
Just so you know, Vanny, as it is in Minnesota. Minnesota is a snow state,
which is
and perhaps I assume he's probably in his basement.
No, I'm told Isaac is back in country. He's back in Liberia.
Already? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, you are much better. You are coming in much better.
Isaac, I thought you was in your basement though, in Minnesota. Not knowing you're in Liberia.
Okay.
I guess Jackson will have to adjust.
Yeah, so I think you will have to leave us and reconnect. I hope we can. Mr. Jackson, are you there now?
Yeah, I'm trying to work this thing.
You are okay. Just that okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think President George Weah have
Hello?
anything substantive for the nation on today?
Hello, I'm doing an interview
Mr.
here.
Jackson,
I'm
do
doing
you
an
think
interview here.
President Weah?
So gentlemen, I'm doing an interview. Sorry, Vanny, I didn't get you. Go, sorry, please repeat yourself. Sorry.
Does President
Go to
Weah
office
have
then.
anything substantive for the Liberian people on today, in your view?
I didn't get you, sir.
I'm asking, do you think His Excellency George Weah will have anything substantive to tell the Liberian people on today?
Oh, absolutely not. I think it will be a repetition of hollowness. It will be completely empty, devoid of substance. This is the president's last annual message. And I think Liberians from all walks of life should work together to ensure that it is his last annual message. He has debased the standard of the presidency, and as such, he cannot continue to preside over this country. We will democratically unseat him because enough is enough. So whatever he delivering as an annual message, you know, is going to be a mirage. It's just a ritual that he had to undertake, and that's why he's there. So nothing substantial will be said, nothing credible will be said. And I think the Liberian people need to work together now to stop this continual decline into oblivion.
Can you cite some of those points that you want to highlight and say, these are the things that I want to point to you that this man has failed or this man has made some progress?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you go back to President Weah's inaugural address, you know, when you promise someone or when you promise the republic, we hold you by what you promised the republic. And if you fail to deliver on it, then we say you either scam our people or you con them. In President Weah's inaugural address, he promised Liberians and he spoke to the global community that Liberians will not be spectators in their economy. Today, Liberians are more than spectators. Even the annual message he's delivering, he has not pinpointed one Liberian that is being able to capacitate to do something meaningful or productive in this country. Liberians are struggling. In fact, the entire country is awash with hard time, poverty. People are catching hell. The Action Against Hunger, an international NGO, reported that 1.6 million households in this country go to bed on empty stomach, go to bed hungry. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they said he was going to be what? Road medicine. He's a road medicine. Right now, if you live across, you drive on the Freeport Road, you will know that President Weah is not a road medicine. You go to the southeast, it's cut off from the rest of this country because the roads there are terribly, terribly bad. What the president and his bunch of friends or thieves have been doing is to build politically driven roads. They build the roads leading to the homes of their girlfriends and their so-called powerful individual or bishop in their government. So when you go along the RRA road, which is now a death trap, you know, RRA is a death trap. If you go on that road, what you see there. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We're getting you. We just brought the.
If you go on the RRA road, what you see there is first a death trap. That road, as we all know it, $30 million have already been spent on that road, and there is no meaningful progress. But I was just talking about road leading to the homes of girlfriends of ministers and road leading to the homes of powerful individuals of the government. So there is a road that leads to Mr. McGill house. There is a road that leads to Percy Yeke house. There is a road that leads to Senate Pro Tempore, Abachie house. There is also a selfish and wicked road that leads to President Weah Jamaica Resort, which is in sharp contrast to what was written or done by United States government taxpayers' money Under compact. Under the compact arrangement, the United States government carried out a study here and created the cloud-based system, the compact cloud-based system. In that system, the roads are all across the country. There is a data that was collected. Those data are there. With a click of a mouse, you can get it. What it does for Liberia is it will say to you which road the government should prioritize or decision makers should prioritize. The road to have economic returns on the road. Regrettably, President Weah and his people have abandoned the HDM4 road format or that was instituted is our public works. They have abandoned that structure. They have rigged down that structure, and they are now building political roads that are leading to the homes of girlfriends, the sweethearts, the big shot in the government, and there is absolutely no economic return on those roads. So the government, it is a big problem.
Yeah, the government acknowledges the fact that there have been some constraints, but when you sound in this manner, it sounds subjective, as though there is no plus where you can give this government to say, this is where I think this government has made some strides.
But I'm being objective and being earnest. Just right now, when the president was speaking, he went back to some of the successes of even the Seli administration. He talked about, oh, we passed the Abdullah Kamara Freedom of Information Act, and today we get more newspaper, we get more radio station. Forgetting to know that these radio stations he's talking about, that he want to say, okay, yeah, there's a flourishing of freedom of speech. These radio stations were registered by the Seli administration. The one challenge that he had to register a radio station, it is your radio station, Punch, and you know how long they muscle their radio station to come on air. You know how much they did to impede Mr. Patrick Hanna from expressing a free speech through this medium that was established. It was the persistency, the insistence of Mr. Hanna and few Liberians who believe in free speech that how the radio station Punch came on show. So, President, we are bragging over there about freedom of speech here. It's dishonest. It's dishonest. They ranked Mr. Costa out of this place while he was carrying on his own radio station. Arbitrarily shut down some police people there, ex-combatant there, and shut that place down. Today, he want to man the podium and deceive and say, oh yeah, freedom of information here. The Abdullah Kamara bill, the essence of it was to encourage free expression, even from individuals, not only journalists. So if you go back to the reason why Menipekwe Dumoye was jailed, then you ask yourself, what are this government is very tolerant? The CDC it's just a mirage, nothing substantial, brother.
Stephen.
Hello?
I'm here.
Yeah, yeah, Stephen, do you think Mr. Jackson worked in the Unity Party-led government? The CDC have said the UP have not got any moral grounds to critique their performance because they were there. In their fair view, they believe that Minister Jackson was on board a government they believe did not do well for the people. Do you share that view as well? You were very active during the UP's administration.
I mean, like any other administrations, right? Every government that comes to power, they all have their own challenges. The Unity Party had their own challenges, you understand? But on the overall level, the Unity Party did extremely well when it came.
I can't hear my colleague. I don't know what's going on.
You know, the Unity Party did.
You're not getting us, Mr. Jackson?
No, I'm not hearing the speaker.
Are you hearing me? I'm very loud and clear. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me, Isaac? Isaac, are you hearing me?
I'm hearing Stephen. I'm hearing Isaac, but I don't know why Stephen is not getting Isaac.
I'm not hearing Stephen. I can hear you faintly. I call Vanny. Yeah. I can get you faintly, but I can't get Stephen at all.
Oh, okay. So let me see if I can.
I think you have to check your volume as well, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, I've done so, brother. If I can hear you, I should be able to hear Stephen, right?
Okay, yeah, sure. Can you hear him now?
I can't hear him, but you can go ahead. Maybe you can, summarize or re-echo what he said.
Yeah, but I'm hearing Stephen, and I'm sure the public does.
basically what I'm saying, Isaac, is the fact that like every other government, right? The Unity Party government had their own challenges. You understand? But on the overall, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did extremely well when it came to development in the country. Whether it was waiving our debt, whether it was providing electricity for the capital city, whether it was the employment of high-skilled individuals with international reputation, it just go on what the creation of GSC, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. Those institutions were all created under President Sirleaf, and to ensure that those individuals that spearheaded the operations of those institutions were up for tax. You understand? But coming back to where when we say just the appointment, of friends, all his friends rather, and all other people that work around him. So that's a sharp contrast, unlike what Eden did.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, back to you.
Yes,
hello.
sir.
Are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
As an opposition community, what do you think? You believe that President Weah does not deserve a second chance. What is going to be that thing that will make this opposition community to have that victory? What does the opposition need to do?
No, I think President Weah, like I said, and as per the evidence before us, is incapable or unfit to continue to preside over the country. One thing that he may not even touch on today is the condemnation from the U.S. government of 3 officials of his government working directly under his supervision were placed on sanction for corruption. Those people were deemed to be inherently corrupt and hazardous to public office. They all resign in shame and disgrace. Today, President Weah is supporting them in a subtle manner to undermine and pollute our culture of democracy. I say this because in a democracy, what you want is a fair competition of ideas. Regrettably, what Mr. McGill and others have said to do with their stolen money from government is to buy up people. Now, when you buy voters, then you are undercutting and undermining democracy. It's not fair competition anymore. And if President Weah meant to fight corruption or wanted to demonstrate ample evidence of a desire to fight corruption, by now, Mr. McGill and those 3 U.S. sanctioned criminals will be in court facing prosecution. And so I think it is a message that we have to take across to our people. Corruption is cancerous. It is corruption that is producing the huge number of hungry people in this country. The ministers steal from the poor people. They scrape the begging bowl of poor people and made the president to go to Qatar and watch football game in luxury.
Mr. Jackson,
you cannot do this in a rational universe where you take food from the hands of the poor and give money to the president to go watch football game while 1.6 million people, household, go to bed hungry in this country. It is a sign of somebody who doesn't care. The president doesn't care. I mean, the poor people are far removed from his thought. It's all about himself. And I think those of us in the opposition community, it now behooves us to come together and make sure that President Weah doesn't continue this attitude of don't care. People are catching hell in the country. They just going about as though everything okay.
It seems very unlikely for a united opposition.
Obviously, we need a united opposition. But even if we did not get to unite ourselves, I think a strong candidate with a strong message can defeat President Weah, because there is not any real evidence that President Weah is doing anything substantial. Today, Liberia's image globally has once more been tarnished. Just yesterday, 3 major foreign missions the European Union, the American embassy near our capital, and the British embassy wrote a letter to President We are complaining that the forestry has been criminalized, has been,
been released on that.
Yes.
A report
So
is
you
out
can
on that.
imagine the forestry sector, even the forestry itself, is now exporting illegal logs. These foreign embassies are concerned.
There is a
Then you go back to the earlier days of the government. Now foreign mission in this country jointly wrote a communication saying this government was tampering with partners' money and they needed to stop. They were taking partner money and certifying their hedonistic appetite. They were doing things, constructing political roads and finding money for the president to fly to Ghana to see some of his friends and Kogi Bounds. These are things that the American and non-ambassadors in this country condemn in very clear and open message. So it's just to show to you that even our diplomatic image is being tarnished.
Mr. Jackson,
foreign minister, when he was at New York, he mistook a policeman from a female as a romantic invitation. So today, he's dealing with a sexual scandal case at New York, from New York.
Mr.
Then you have the other fellow who went to South Korea and raped somebody there. I mean, these are not good signs. These people are throwing our country down, and we need to stand up collectively as opposition people or people in the opposition community to say to President We are enough is enough. You have debased the value of the presidency. You are debased the standard of the presidency. You are passing it around making music when it is not the constitutional function of the executive. He will not make any report today about how many albums he has produced because he knows it is not his core function to leave the issues of improving the welfare of our people to producing useless musical albums that nobody buys. It's just a debasement of the presidency. He just debases the presidency in a callous manner. So we got to work together and stop this thing here and tell President We are, this is your last annual message. You will get no more annual message in this country. We are tired with the empty hollowness of your words. Your words are devoid of substance. You promised you were going to build mini football stadium in this country. You have not done anything serious in that direction. You say your friend who was FIFA president was going to come and build a bigger stadium, bigger than SKD. Zero has not happened.
Mr. Jackson, we will pause you there. We want to take a little clip from the president's speech, and then we will come back to you.
Thank you very kindly. At least I'm getting you pinpointed now, so it's good. Thank you.
Forecast for the period. The estimated domestic revenue is $667.9 million United States dollars, or 85.9%. While external resources are projected at $110 million United States dollars, or 14.1%. Consistent with our commitment to support public investment projects, we have increased capital expenditure in the proposed budget for fiscal year 2023 to $154 million US dollars, up from $143 million in the last fiscal year. Public investment is focused on key infrastructure investment, such as roads and bridges and the CLSG transmission line. Other programs include the upcoming general and presidential elections, election-related security, county tour implementation, the compulsory primary educational policy, the at-risk youth empowerment fund, and support to vulnerable small businesses. Mr. Speaker, Liberia recently concluded its fourth review on the IMF supported program. The outcomes demonstrate robust fiscal and monetary performance. In the review, the executive director of the IMF have noted, and I quote, the Liberian authorities managed to keep the program broadly on track by preserving macroeconomic stability, ensuring a comfortable international reserve position, and maintaining debt sustainability, unquote. Let me not talk to you. I just read it. This favorable appraisal by the IMF was promptly followed by a transfer of $22.1 million to the Central Bank of Liberia to increase the nation's reserve stock. You see, I perform where they go give me something again. Yeah. Yeah. I want to perform, then they put give us. In support of our economic reform leading to a stable economy, we have maintained our commitment to the independence and autonomy of the Central Bank of Liberia. Although the preceding year was a difficult one for the economy, my government supported the various CBL policy measures that have kept the economic recovery on track.
Mr. Jackson and Stephen will have to, I'll just ask the both of you my last questions and then we'll take leave of you and rejoin His Excellency President George Weah. I've got just 2 questions to ask both of you and then we'll leave you, join the President for the rest of the time. First thing is that the President is the IMF as building his government for microeconomic stability. So the question now is that a true reflection that is being given by the IMF? That's the first one. And secondly, he talks about public sector investment. Over the years, we've seen very low allotment in that light. The key areas he talked about, do you care to touch on them? The CLSD, the issue of at-risk youth, small business empowerment, are those key areas that we should be talking about as well at this time? The first one is his government being held by the IMF for microeconomic stability. Does that correlate with the reality on ground?
I mean, it doesn't really fit in with the reality on ground. In all fairness, and if the economy is good, that will be reflected in the lives of our people. Jackson,
we're talking about the IMF grading the government for having microeconomic stability.
Well, the reality is not what it is. You know, contrary to what the IMF is projecting, what we see on the ground is different from what the IMF is projecting. Perhaps in our report, what the IMF is saying, maybe it might be a long-term projection, but currently, that's not the reality.
Mr. Jackson, let me get your view. Do you think the IMF projection is sincere? The IMF has said this government has managed to ensure microeconomic stability. Is that a sincere projection? Or
no, I think what really happened is that the government, in a way, misled, you know, the IMF with some of the information that was provided. You know, these same people who are today trying to employ IMF, when the evidence on the home front is contradicting the textbook literature, then you know that it's completely deceptive. I know there were days when the international community will applaud the regime that I'm working, and CDC people will be saying, oh no, man, international people, you're doing this. The evidence on the home front, you don't need to tell anybody that the economy of this country is struggling.
Mr. Jackson, finally, in one word, how do you describe Liberia under President George Weah? We take leave of you and come to Stephen to do the same. How do you describe Liberia and Liberians' condition under Weah?
Under the Weah leadership, this country future has become completely pathetic, and Weah himself have demonstrated, like I said, and will continue to say, that he is incompetent. The entire regime is incompetent. They are unserious. It is a play government. But no government will see its people struggling, and the president will take millions of dollars to go and watch football game. You got
Mr.
to be unserious to do that. And the government is dangerously corrupt. It is stealing everything that is not nailed down. This
Thank you,
level
Mr.
of corruption that have come to be offensive even to the American government is something that all Liberians must stand up in united chorus and condemn and replace we are for the mismanagement of our country.
Thank
We
you,
need
Stephen.
to take Liberia on the right trajectory.
Stephen, in a war or the sentence, how do you describe Liberia under President Weah? Then we can take leave of you and join the president for the continuation of his speech.
I mean, we are government. I would describe it as the blind leading the cripple. That's
Okay.
how I would describe to this government currently.
Okay.
Nothing more.
Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. This is all the time we have. We need to join the president there for viewers to follow the speech. Stephen, thank you so very kindly. Mr. Jackson, thanks to the both of you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Vanny, for the invitation. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
You are welcome, sir. Okay, so this is it. Punch TV coming to you live from this is the program Trending Issues. Please stay with us now as we continue with the president as he delivers his final State of the Nation address. This is Trending Issues.
36.9%, while principal repayment account for 56.37 million US dollar, or 63.1%. Also, from the total debt service, 57.7 million United dollars was paid to the Central Bank of Liberia, to commercial banks for treasury bonds, and to other institutions for domestic debt, while $32.3 million was paid, US dollar was paid to multilateral and bilateral partners. Of the domestic payment of 57.7 million US dollars, about $17.8 million, or 31%, was paid to the Central Bank of Liberia. This payment and the ongoing continuous payments of government's obligation to the Central Bank clearly demonstrate our government commitment and support to the financial and operational independence of the Central Bank of Liberia. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to report that the audit of the consolidated account is now current, with all audits backlogs being cleared. Currently, the General Auditing Commission is concluding an audit of the special fiscal year 2021, the fiscal year 2021, the payroll audit, and the audit of the domestic debt. These audit reports are expected to be submitted to you within the next 30 days. Mr. Speaker, we continue to implement reforms for the central government payroll and system, with the objective of improving the welfare of both active and retired employees of government through centralization and digitalization. Our payroll is now easily auditable, predictable, and adjustable in order to ensure fairness and efficiency, while at the same time increasing the welfare of civil servants. Since establishing payroll grades for all positions at the start of our reform in 2019, we have partially or fully increased or adjusted the gross salary of more than 28,000 government workers out of more than 70,000 government employees. These beneficiaries, employees include teachers, health workers, in rural and how to reach counties and security officers within various security agencies. Others include academic staff at the University of Liberia, Tubman University in Maryland County, and other community colleges outside Monrovia. These adjustments have been made possible through the larger fiscal space created under our reform efforts. Mr. Speaker, because of the integrated nature of these reforms, today we are executing the legal power of Anthony LP scheme and the quick cash credit scheme, which now benefit thousands of civil servants who, through salary deduction, now have access to fast credit for cash, building materials, furniture, and fixture, electronics, and food items. This year, we plan to expand the LPA scheme to rural Liberia to benefit more civil servants, including teachers, health workers, security officers, traditional leaders, and workers. This expansion will also benefit rural businesses by increasing their sales and profit. Mr. Speaker, as domestic revenue improves, we remain committed to enhancing the welfare of government workers. I have been informed that some 15,000 government workers still make below the minimum wage of $150 US, as mandated by the Decent Work Act. This is completely unacceptable. No government worker should make below the minimum wage mandated by public law. I have therefore directed that as part of this 2023 budget, the wages of all such workers be raised at or above the minimum wage. I am informed that the cost to achieving this is estimated at $6 million US annually. So I tell you that you can do it. And so, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President Pro Tempore, and distinguished members of the 54th Legislature, as we accelerate the discussion for the 2023 national budget, I urge you to make the securing of this amount of $6 million US for these 15,000 workers one of your highest priority. I look forward to engaging you further on this, and we will talk it. Mr. Speaker, official development assistance, otherwise referred to as foreign aid, is critical to Liberia's economic growth and development, as it represents an important share of the national budget. In 2022, we negotiated and signed approximately 9 financing instruments with development partners worth a total of about $282.2 million US. These projects and programs supplement our continuing commitment to exclusive growth and development in Liberia. We continue to take steps to improve aid coordination. At the steering committee meeting of the PAPD held last year, I emphasized to our development partners the importance of coordinating resources in critical sectors such as health, education, and agriculture for more transformative results. The government and its partners have both reaffirmed their commitment to upholding the tenets of the Paris Agenda on Aid Effectiveness and are delivering framework under the PAPD to achieve this. But much more work needs to be done to deliver more results for the Liberian people. Mr. Speaker, 2 years ago, I delivered an address at COP26 in Glasgow, calling for carbon trading on the African continent. I repeated similar theme at COP27 that was held in Egypt last year. My vision is to have Liberia work with the international community to enhance Liberia's potential of being a carbon sink for the world. Given our huge forest reserves, smart climate finance is the way we want to go, and we encourage our international partner to help to get us there. We are committed to doing our part to transition to this new model of climate change financing in Liberia. Liberia remains committed to the global climate change agenda and to meeting its nationally determined contribution. We are looking to improve governance of the forest sector and move towards a more effective management of our forest reserve as a means to transition to a better model of climate finance. We are also working to enlarge our protected areas and are committed to reducing our reliance on commercial logging, but much more needs to be done in this area, and we will continue to work along with our development partner to achieve these goals. Towards this end, I will open a climate finance forum to be held at the EJS Ministerial Complex in a few days, where the government and its development partner will explore ways of rethinking climate change, climate finance, and carbon trading in Liberia. Mr. Speaker, climate change is affecting Liberia in various ways, and we are accordingly responding with meaningful projects. For example, following submission of a coastal defense funding proposal to the Green Climate Fund in 2021, a $25 million US coastal defense project for the township of West Point was approved, and the project has commenced. The chocolate button here. Another coastal defense project for Greenville, Sano County has also been approved by the Global Environment Facility at the cost of $10 million US. These two coastal defense projects are expected to reduce the vulnerabilities of their respective community against the adverse impact of climate change. In this regard, I would like to thank our partners and stakeholders for assisting Liberia to secure the needed resources to address these glaring manifestations of climate change damage to some of our coastal communities. My government values the support provided by the UNDP, which is now only co-financing both projects, but which has helped Liberia to secure the resources needed from the GCF and GEF. UNDP is also partnering with the EPA and the Ministry of Mines to implement the program. Mr. Speaker, together we have worked to improve governance and to strengthen the fight against corruption and public accountability. You recently passed a new Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission Act that gives the LACC the prosecutorial power it has lacked, and also giving it greater independence from interference. For example, none of the 7 LACC commissioners under this new law can be removed or dismissed by any precedent, including me. I made sure that this provision was enshrined in the law because I wanted to make it very clear that my government has nothing to hide, and we are committed to fighting corruption. You have also passed the Witness Protection Act and whistleblower laws. Additionally, my government has increased budgetary support to both the General Auditing Commission and the LACC. In the proposed budget, the LACC will receive the highest share of funding it has ever had in its history. We have also placed new leadership at the Internal Audit Agency. The government is working to place the IAA at the center of the fight against corruption, since it is the first anti-graft institution that can prevent corruption before it happens. We will increase the level of funding to the IAA in this 2023 budget, and we now challenge the new management, of IAA to find innovative ways to protect public resources. Mr. Speaker, last year, we Corporation scorecard. This is the first time Liberia has reached this level of success. These passes show improvement in the overall trend of governance under my administration. We continue to exert every effort to transform the governance space. However, the MCC report does show that we need to pay more attention to equality and effectiveness in health and education. To pay more attention to quality and effectiveness in health and education. With the increase in domestic revenue that has been engendered by this administration, we will look to apply these new resources for further development and enhance the nation's human capital. Mr. Speaker, distinguished members of the 54th Legislature, the development and improvement in Liberia's human capital has emerged as the biggest generational challenge we face. Education is the cornerstone for our national development agenda and the pathway to a brighter future for our young people. It will empower them to create opportunities for themselves, their communities, and for our country. To this end, I have endorsed an education sector plan, which has been developed by the Ministry of Education in conjunction with our development partner. This plan, which will spend 5 years from 2023 to 2027, summarizing our vision for turning education around in Liberia. I'm confident that it will be a powerful tool to mitigate the current challenges in the education system, as it provides a strategy roadmap for the achievement of the key education policy goals of the government over the next 5 years. The education sector plan will require government to commit more than $500 million over the next 5 years. as government revenue increases, as forecast, my proposal is that we should devote an increasingly large share of these new revenue streams to this new plan in order to secure the future of our young people in Liberia. However, the success of this plan will depend not only on the Ministry of Education, but also on the goodwill and commitment of all education stakeholders, government ministry and agency, and the full participation, contribution, and cooperation of all Liberians and foreign residents in Liberia. Therefore, I want to encourage all of us to join our collective efforts together in working vigorously to achieve the targets identified in the education sector plan 2023 to 2027 in order to make our education sector better. Mr. Speaker, consistent with Article 39 of the Liberian Constitution and your joint resolution of 2022, empowering us to undertake the 2022 National Population and Housing Census, I am pleased to report that the census process is about to be concluded and that the provisional results are being finalized. The 2022 census represents not only Liberia's 5th national population and housing census, but most notably, it also represents Liberia's first ever digital census, and is one of the first digital national enumerations in our region. As you are aware, the processes leading to the commencement of the census encounter various operational and logistical challenges. This was not to be unexpected, given the large scale of a project such as a national census. Nevertheless, with a strong and concerted effort from all stakeholders, these challenges are being handled under the able leadership of the Vice President, to whom I assign oversight responsibility. I've been informed that a significant percentage of the Liberian population has been enumerated, and that provisional census results are expected to soon be announced, while the census thematic reports and final results should be published shortly thereafter. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to inform you that the census process has been conducted in accordance with the United Nations technical recommendations for the 2020 round of census, and it is conformity with both regional and international standards. I therefore take this time to express my profound thanks and appreciation to all national and international stakeholders who form a part of this national endeavor to deliver a successful census. My special thanks and appreciation to also go to the many young persons who brave the tough environment across our nation and work from dusk to dawn until the process was successfully concluded. You are our national heroes. Congratulations for a job well done. Excuse me. If you can't feel. Madam Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President pro tempore, and members of the 54th Legislature, during the year under review, the Monetary Policy Trust of the Central Bank of Liberia was focused on price stability by keeping Liberian dollar money supply and liquidity in line with macroeconomic fundamentals. Because of the soundness and effectiveness of these monetary policy, we have been able to protect the purchasing power of the Liberian dollar. The exchange rate of the Liberian dollar vis-a-vis the US dollar has recorded one of the longest period of stability in recent time, and it is today considered as one of the most stable currency in the West African sub-region during 2022. In 2023, our government will remain focused on improving the living standard of our people by promoting a low inflation and stable exchange rate environment, which are important preconditions for macroeconomic stability and sustainable economic development. Mr. Speaker, net personal remittances for the 11-month period, January to November 2022, including remittances terminated through mobile money wallets, expanded by 31.8% to $531.6 million, an increase from the $403.2 million US dollar recorded for the corresponding period in 2021. This development showed that Liberia remains one of the major destinations of remittances in Africa. This is contributing significantly to our national development efforts. We would like to thank Liberians in the diaspora for their support in this direction. Mr. Speaker, we have endeavored to keep our banking system stable and sound as part of our effort to enhance confidence. During the year under review, the system continued to be capitalized and liquid, with increased lending to the private sector, as well as the growth in private deposit. However, the rising level of non-performing loans poses the single most important risk to the profitability and overall stability of the banking sector. In this regard, the government will give full support to the central bank in pursuing delinquent borrower in line with the law and in the interest of the public goods. Mr. Speaker, for the year 2022, our external sector showed strong performance. Our trade deficit narrowed due to growth in exports. Despite the significant rise in our imports payments, especially for petroleum products, our current account deficit also improved, despite the challenges with our current account balance. My government, through the CBL, has made significant effort in building Liberia's international reserves position to over 4 months of imports coverage, largely due to special drawing rights allocation from the IMF. This target exceeds both the ECOWAS reserve threshold at the least 3 months of important imports cover and the target set under the IMF extended credit facility. This achievement means that Liberia is in a strong position to withstand any potential external shock in protecting the value of the Liberian dollar and promoting macroeconomic stability. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to inform you that for the first time in the history of Liberia's financial system, my government has established a secondary market to redeem public debts. The central bank lessens the Liberian Merchant Capital Limited to own and operate a discount house, which will provide additional liquidity to respond to the demand of our economy. This effort, in addition to issuance of CBL bills and government treasury bonds, will further support the development of the money market and a functioning financial market in the country in the medium term. Mr. Speaker, in addition to ensuring that there are adequate banknotes and coins to serve the needs of the economy in both the short term and medium term, my government is also promoting the National Payment System Program. The digitization of our financial services and transactions is important not only for achieving our financial inclusions agenda, but also enhancing efficiency in our public financial management. In this regard, the government, through the central bank, has secured up to $7 million from World Bank to finance the upgrading of our national electronic payment suite. This project will significantly help in promoting interoperability among the different players in the payment system space, promote regional trade through the Pan-African payment system infrastructure, and promote effective and transparent public financial management through improved revenue collections and payment for expenditure. Mr. Speaker, in 2021, the 54th National Legislature, through a joint resolution and with approval from my office, authorized the CBN to implement a comprehensive currency reform program. This mandate called for the full replacement of the existing Liberian banknotes and the legacy coins, which are assumed to be in circulation, with a new family of banknotes, and to introduce new coins. As we all know, this is a major national tax, critical not only to addressing the perennial problem of shortage of Liberian dollar in the banking system, but also supporting our broader objective of promoting de-dollarization of the Liberian economy over time. I am pleased to commend the effort of the CBN honoring the leadership of the Board of Governors and the management for the achievement thus far. The currency reform project has been proceeding well and accordingly to plan. Notwithstanding all the many challenges, the CBN has worked with both the printing and minting companies to ensure that quantities of banknotes and coins planned to be brought into the country in 2022 were all delivered before the end of 2022, adhering to the stipulations of the joint resolution of the National Legislature that no new currency shall be brought into the country in the 2023 elections year. The total currency brought into the country during 2021 and 2022 was nearly 34 billion Liberian dollars in banknotes and coins. This amount represents 71.8% of the total 48.73 billion Liberian dollars that has been approved by you. The consignment brought into the country cover all the denominations, including 1,500 Liberian dollar, 100, 50, 20 for the banknote, and 10 and $5 for the coins. The remaining amount of the approved banknotes and coins, representing about 28%, will be brought into the country in 2024. It is worth noting that as at end December 2022, the bank had withdrawn and destroyed a total of 10.41 billion Liberian dollar legacy banknote from the circulation. I am now pleased to inform you that in line with the bank-approved plan, the currency exchange SSI is being implemented in a gradual process. Through the commercial banks, the CBN has also informed me that it has also taken measures to decentralize the exchange SSI across the country through the utilization of its Banga Cash Hub and plan to extend to Vojema and Zweju by the first quarter of this year. In addition, the CBN has reached an agreement with the commercial banks to ensure the exchange of the new currency in all parts of the country. Meanwhile, the CBN has been engaged with various stakeholders, including the public, to educate and sensitize the population on the currency reform program, the features of the new currency, and the implementation process. These engagements have helped both in the managing public expectation and in protecting the integrity of the exchange process. While the CBN has not announced a specific timeline for the exchange SSI to be completed, the bank is optimistic of replacing a significant portion, if not all, of the old banknotes and coins by the end of the first quarter of this year. As a government, it is important that we acknowledge the policy advice and technical support of our partners, notably the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, for hiring the services of CROW and the IMF, who provided the needed technical assistance to the CBN throughout this process. We want to say to USAID and the IMF that the government and people of Liberia are grateful to you for your support and assistance. Madam Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President pro tempore, and members of the 54th Legislature, during the year under review, our foreign policy and foreign relations remain on a firm course. As we broaden and strengthen our ties with the international community on both the bilateral and multilateral levels. Of note is that the cessation of the COVID-19 pandemic allowed for in-person participation in summits and other meetings following 2 years of restriction. We were therefore enabled to fully participate in the activities of the international organization of which Liberia is a member. Consequently, we attended the statutory and extraordinary meetings of the Economic Community of West African States, the ECOWAS, the African Union, AU, and the United Nations, UN, either personal or by competent representation. Mr. Speaker, the period under review, the search for genuine and lasting peace in the sub-region, as well as the restoration of constitutional democracy, remain the priority issues on the agenda of ECOWAS. The security and political situation in Guinea, Mali, and Burkina Faso have been of paramount concern. We continue to support the peacekeeping operation in Mali with the presence of a contingent of the armed forces of Liberia embedded within the United Nations mission MINUSMA in that sister state. We continue to work with our colleagues to resolve the constitutional impasse in the Republic of Mali in order to restore constitutional democracy. The key objective is to restore political order through the holding of free, fair, and transparent election in the soonest convenient time. The great security situation in the Sahel is of paramount concern to Liberia because it poses a serious threat to the peace and the security of the entire West African sub-region. My government will therefore do all within its power to support the transition agenda of ECOWAS aimed at bringing the Republic of Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso to peace, security, stability, democracy, and constitutional order. Mr. Speaker, with the lifting of COVID-19 restriction, we made several trips abroad to represent the national interests of Liberia, most notable, among which were the following: Attaya, Turkey, March 11-13, to attend the second Attaya Diplomacy Forum. On the sideline of the forum, we held a bilateral meeting with His Excellency Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President of the Republic of Turkey. Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, May 8-10, 2022, to attend the Hub Summit on Drought, Resilience, and Sustainable Land Management. Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, May 27-29, 2022, to attend a summit of the African Union. Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, May 29-31, 2022, for a working visit. Dabro Bapulu. Accra, Ghana, June 1st to 9, 2022, to attend an extraordinary summit of ECOWAS. Accra, Ghana, July 2nd to 4th, 2022, to attend the ordinary session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS. Dakar, Senegal, 6 to 8, 2022, to participate in the other Summit for Africa. Yamoussoukro, Côte d'Ivoire, August 6-8, 2022, to participate in events marking the celebration of the 62nd independent anniversary of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire. New York, USA, September 18 to 24, 2022, to attend the 77 sessions of the United Nations General Assembly. Tangier, Kingdom of Morocco, November 2nd to 5th, 2022, to participate in the 14th editions of the May Days International Forum, where I was invited to give the keynote address. Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, November 6 to 18, 2022, to attend the COP27 Summit. Paris, France, November 11 to 15, 2022, to attend the 5th edition of the Paris Peace Forum. Doha, Qatar, November 18/29/2022 to attend the official ceremony of the FIFA World Cup 2022 as guests of honor of FIFA and the Emir of Qatar. Principality of Monaco, December 1st to 2nd, 2022 to attend and serve as keynote speaker at the 30th edition of the International Peace and Sports Forum and held bilateral discussion with His Serene Highness Albert II, Sovereign Prince of Monaco, my good friend. Mr. Speaker, last but by no means the least, our privilege to honor an invitation from Joseph Arab Biden, Jr., President of the United States of America, to participate in the U.S. African Leaders Summit, which was held in Washington, D.C., USA, from 13 to 15 December 2022, where I address different forums, delivering a keynote address at one of the largest of these forums, the African and Diaspora Young Leaders Forum. I highlighted the vital role of the youth and diaspora in Africa. I called on young people and diaspora Africa to play meaningful roles in Africa through innovations, investment, and knowledge transfer. I informed them of the passage in Liberia of the law authorizing dual citizenship and allowing women to pass citizenship to their children, which revises a long-term ban and essential for consolidating a vibrant, progressive, inclusive, and just society. I received a special public commendation from United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken when he stated, and I quote, "President Weah, I would like to thank you for your great leadership and for strengthening the U.S.-Liberia bond," unquote. So it is not me who says so. The Secretary General of the United States, Mr. Blinken, said, and I quote, "Mr. President, I am sure that U.S.-Liberia relations will flourish under your leadership," unquote. And you know what? You know what? He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right, because I always stated, and I will say again, like I said in France, America is our traditional partner. So if a friend of America is our friend, it's okay. But if you're not a friend of America, then you're not our friend. This is our traditional partner. The United States, look, let me tell you that hope to be leaders. Those that want to be leaders, there's no compromise. America is an ally of Liberia. Whether we like it or not, it's not to boast. It's not to boast. Never made a mistake. America is your partner. I am further pleased to inform you that I was among 5 other heads of state out of the nearly 50 African heads of states and government who were in attendance